2017 and beyond, the opportunity to niche as a virtual assistant is better than ever. Many people start off as a generalist VA or somebody who does all kinds of tasks and then charges an hourly rate or packages them together to give that opportunity to the client every month to pay a set amount and receive a certain number or type of tasks. But niching down as a virtual assistant is super powerful. If you're curious to learn more, check out some of my podcast episodes shared in the description below, where I've talked to virtual assistants who are specializing in everything from ConvertKit to Google Analytics to really increase their hourly rate and be viewed as an expert in their niche. This is really powerful because you can communicate from a place of confidence. And today I want to talk to you about one of the hottest niches in 2017 and beyond to get involved in. It's helping with somebody's podcast. Podcasts are very, very popular, and I'm getting requests every single week for referrals for people who can help plan, edit, produce, and generate social media graphics around somebody's podcast. A podcast is a great medium to share information with your listeners. That's exactly why I have a podcast. However, it's extremely time-consuming. People can spend hours preparing just one episode from the point of recording all the way to completion. So someone might need help with all aspects of that podcast production, finding guests, booking guests, making sure the guests have provided their materials like a headshot and a biography in advance, making social media graphics, uploading the podcast to Williamsen or a similar program, posting it on a blog, and sharing it over social media. You can see how many different steps are involved in the process. And that's to say nothing of writing show notes or making this into a blog post and sharing it in other places as well. So for that reason, more entrepreneurs who are starting podcasts, even if they've had a podcast for a while, are looking to outsource some pieces of that process. If you can become familiar with some of the software involved and educate yourself to become a podcast expert, you can charge a great retainer or hourly package to focus specifically as the podcast VA. In fact, one thing I've noticed in the field is that there's not enough of these at the time of this recording. It's hard to find somebody who specializes in podcast-related tasks. So if you're thinking about adding an additional menu of services to your virtual assistant business and you weren't sure where to go, I strongly recommend podcasting. Niching down and positioning yourself as a specialist with podcasts can help you make more money and keep your brain focused on one particular type of task that you're doing every single day. Makes things easier for you and makes you into an expert for your clients. Ultimately, it works out well for everyone. To learn more about the podcast process and how I launched a podcast in 30 days or less, check the description below for my Udemy courses about how to become featured as a guest expert on podcasts and how to launch a podcast. Educating yourself about what podcasts are, who they reach, and how they work can help you begin to offer this in your virtual assistant business.